As the conflict in the Middle East continues, I can't help but feel a little bit of familiarity between the ongoing stages of World War III and the beginning of how World War II really kicked off. World War III and World War II have a lot of very similar themes, mainly economic principles, which country has sovereignty, and which people has sovereignty within that country. These seem to be ongoing and repeated themes that seem to be echoing from the Second World War into the Third. And unlike the Second World War, there's some major differences that we actually have to consider when we're looking at this current conflict. First is the technology that was available at the time. One of my favorite things to do is go back and look at any of the old World War II armored personnel carriers or tanks or jeeps and just look up how much horsepower those vehicles had. Look up how much a Russian Studebaker engine could produce. After a little bit of research, you'll find that most of the vehicles and cars from the 40s and all of World War II, they averaged around anywhere from 40 to 80 horsepower, which means that they had less engine performance than a traditional Toyota Corolla, or even the most base model of cars in today's day and age. When it comes to small arms and munitions, most soldiers had rifles that didn't extend past 5 to 10 round magazines, and 90% of the German weapon systems were bolt action rifles. Furthermore, Germany had a population that's 2/3 the current population of Iran. My point is, America has not entered into armed conflict with any country of this size, well, in recorded history ever. Essentially, we're taking on a country that's bigger than both Imperial Japan or Nazi Germany in World War II, and we're not fighting in the 1940s anymore. If the average infantry carbine is shooting 30 rounds of high-capacity munitions, if the average battle rifle is loaded at least with 20 rounds of 30-06 or 308, the average tank now has jet engines inside of them, and missiles can be remotely piloted from across country lines. And I feel like the average American isn't really prepared for what this sort of combat's going to look like if things actually scale out to full boots on the ground deployment. I think a lot of people in the United States have bought the propaganda that the mainstay of the Iranian government and the local population wants to have a regime change, and there just doesn't really seem to be evidence for that. We're essentially looking at another militarized incursion into a country that's larger than the size of Nazi Germany, and doing it in our modern day and age with our current economy.